place is just gigantic, dude. Oh my god, the old pool. Dude, we should get out of here.
Somewhere near 150 people died up there, and those bodies had to go somewhere. We definitely have a unique past with a lot of people dying here. This is not normal.
We are actually now alone in the catacombs under the streets of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It's honestly really creepy.
It's definitely kind of eerie with the little sounds.
Throw a rock. Let us help you tell your story.
I just feel like there's someone like walking around us.
Hey guys, it's Colin here from the Paranormal Files. Peyton's editing her next vlog. If you haven't watched those, head over to that channel and check them out. Just wanted to say real quickly, thank you to everybody that's donated to our England campaign. We're already over halfway there to get funded for our trip to London. We're gonna be hanging out with a bunch of different channels, connecting up with some people we've linked up with in the last couple of months, exploring a ton of huge locations. So it's totally worth it, and thank you all who have donated. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us so much with just growing faster and getting the message across to so many people. We've got so many amazing episodes coming up, some that we've been shooting the last couple of weeks. My Arizona trip is up next. Leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite part of this entire Arkansas series was. There were a lot of classic moments in the show, so I want to hear from you guys. We're going to be reading all the comments like we always do. Let's keep everything respectful and kind. And once again, thank you to everyone who's out there watching this episode right now. I'm going to fade it to black right now and let the episode roll, and stay spooky, everybody.
Really? What? Jesus Christ.
All the essentials.
Whoa. Careful for nails. Oh my god, dude. We just found a gold mine. We were literally just driving by this place. I've never been in a building like this. Oh, look at the stairway. Whoa. This is so big. Let me just look what's up here. Whoa. One second, come back, take a step back. Look at this shot. Eerie. You think there's like mold and asbestos here? Oh, look at all that mold.
Yeah, it's moldy.
Let's go downstairs.
It's a bed. I think someone's staying here.
This is insane. I can't believe we just were driving. Found this. Ironically, an upside down cross.
This is so cool.
Wow.
This is nice.
Dude, we should get out of here.
Really? Look at all the mold back there.
Let's go. Silent killer. That's why you're always supposed to have respirator masks. Be careful, look at all that on the floor. We don't have our masks. I'm just worried. Wow. What in the Dude, this place is so massive. I wanted to get to that.
We can. If you want. It did smell really moldy.
That's black mold, which is the bad kind. Oh, look at all those handprints.
Ugh. Hi. That pool room is gonna be a nice shot though. And this is YOLO. That shit's from like 2009.
Yo, bro. This place is just gigantic, dude.
It's really cool.
My name is Steve Arnold, Stevearnold. I am the proprietor of Haunted Eureka Springs, ghost tour company in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Our town has a very unique history. It's built on mountainsides, and there's an urban legend that when everyone moved in really quickly, they clear-cutted all the trees and stuff, and there were mudslides, and I suppose that did happen a little bit, but practically speaking, when you build a town on a mountainside, wagons tend to tip over. And horses don't like that, and riders don't like that, and people who have stuff on the wagons don't like it. So the city came in very early and built these retaining walls on the downhill side of the street. And then they backfilled behind them so all the streets would be nice and level. Then the foundation walls of buildings would be built 5 or 6 feet off of the retaining wall. Then up on top of the retaining wall and the foundation wall, they put these real thick slabs of limestone. And for up on the sidewalk, looking down, that was a sidewalk, but from underneath, that became the ceiling of a limestone tunnel. And so pretty much all over town on the downhill sides of our streets, we have these underground tunnels that traverse our town. I would submit that there's not one good reason for an upstanding citizen of Eureka Springs to use our tunnels. Back in Prohibition times, it would have been great for bootleggers to sneak moonshine around. If you wanted to go into one of the buildings, say one of the hotels, and you didn't want someone to see who you're going in to visit, or if there was a speakeasy during Prohibition, you wanted to go in and out, that would make it nice. If you were needing to drop off bodies at a local mortuary, that might be a good place to sneak them in at night if anyone ever had to do anything like that in town. Not very honest, good virtuous reasons to use the tunnel. The particular building we're in here, was Dr. Ellis's building. It burned in 1931, and it's speculated that it might have been arson. And this particular building that we have, there's where I'm standing right here is one of the old windows. There's 6 windows in the foundation wall. Now, some buildings here in town, they have doors that open up. Some have windows, some have nothing. It just depends. Different buildings, their architecture were built for different purposes. So Norman Baker, who occupied the Crescent Hotel back in the Depression era, he ran that for several years. He was arrested on mail fraud charges, and I think those were real easy charges for the feds to get him on. And so he wasn't arrested for murder. He wasn't arrested for practicing medicine without a license. They got him on mail fraud because he would mail things out. The Crescent, somewhere near 150 people likely died up there during the occupation of Baker and his hospital, and those bodies had to go somewhere. It was real important that the other patients of Dr. Baker weren't aware that his guaranteed cure of cancer wasn't so effective. And so when someone would die, they didn't want anyone else to know about it. They'd sneak the bodies down, keep them in the freezer. When the freezer would fill up, they'd have to sneak them out of the building. And so all of this stuff would be done at nighttime. Still a little bit dangerous to be dropping bodies off at the front door where maybe they normally would be if everything was just a normal death. But when you have multiple bodies and they're frozen, it's like, why are they throwing all those frozen bodies out of the back of that Kenzer pickup truck? That's nothing to see here. Keep looking. It's our belief that they would have easily been able to be brought in a few hundred feet up the tunnel here. And then over the years, property owners have blocked off the tunnels. Where we're at is private property. The private property is owned all the way up to the curb, and so the sidewalk and what's occupying under it is private property. And so one of our more famous funeral homes down the street, it was the Bloxham and Company until the mid-30s, and it's one of the little details that we kind of gloss over in our tours. There were 2 other funeral homes that ended up in the phone books in the late 30s and the early 40s for that address. And so the Bloxham and Company had sold out the buildings, but nonetheless it was the building was still being used during Baker's time by one of the newer funeral homes in town that didn't stick around all that long. Don't know why, but maybe they lost their good client.
I was gonna say, yeah, they had good business.
It is a mystery on what happened with all the bodies. The Bloxham and Company, one of the funeral homes that they had in town, down the tunnel here a little ways, is where the New Delhi is now, and that's where our crematorium was in town. And so it's very possible that the bodies made their way down there, and it's a lot easier to dispose of ashes. There are some parts of the cemetery that just have the unmarked graves, and interesting.
It just happened at the other
It
building.
just happened, didn't it?
Spooky.
Is someone agreeing with us or
Yeah,
someone
right.
disagreeing with
Who
us?
knows? Bizarre.
There are some parts of the cemetery that just have the unmarked graves, and there are some parts of the cemetery that just have the unmarked graves. And
So, but a lot of people just don't know what happened to. There's no actual consensus on.
Right. I think that is sometimes in certain parts of history, people like to forget things and maybe cover things up, and maybe they don't want to implicate themselves or family members or whatever. And then sometimes it takes a little while, and then all of a sudden the nostalgia kicks in. We're having a lot more interest, and I think this is nationwide. It's not just local, but we're feeling more and more people interested in our creepy past. We have a very rich history, and it's quite unique for our town, going from there was nobody living here in the 1879. Nobody had been living here for 50 years since the Indian Removal Act of 1830 of Andrew Jackson. The Osage that had been living here were escorted out of the way. And so it wasn't until 1879 before the secret of where Dr. Jackson had been bottling the water for 25 years it got out, and we went from 0 to 400 people in a matter of months. A year later, there were 9,000 people, and then 20,000 people 2 years later. We're the second largest town in Arkansas. A boom town in every sense of the word. And so it's really interesting, some of the old stories that and newspapers and promotional, the whole town was promoting our town as having these healing waters, and they would promote the testimonies, these miraculous testimonies. But a lot of people didn't get cured, and the newspapers didn't even mention who died. I mean, unless someone was a very distinguished person in the community, if someone died and they didn't grow up and live here, they often didn't even make it in the obituaries, because we just don't talk about that. And definitely, Norman Baker was a very, very good marketer of what he did until he went a little too far. There was a story I heard from John Cross, and one of our biggest historians in town, and his family was here, and he's the grandson of Claude Fuller, who was on the House Ways and Means Committee with the U.S. Senate. He wrote the Social Security. So if you know anyone that gets a Social Security check, it was his grandfather that wrote that. Very, very powerful man in Congress. He lived here. And when Norman Baker was here, they got into a bit of an argument, and Norman Baker said, this town's not big enough for both of us, kind of putting the gauntlet down. Well, congressmen back in the day, they got to assign the postmasters, and his brother was the postmaster here in town, and his brother had been collecting the flyers from Norman Baker, mailing out his cancer cure promotional items. And so when this gauntlet was dropped on him, this town's not big enough, Mr. Fuller went to his brother and said, "Give me the file," and he turned it over to the FBI, and he was arrested that fast and convicted. Wow. And it was over. So gives you a little lesson on maybe who you want to challenge in life. Right. Some people you just don't want to push around, and yeah, he met his match. The tunnels are, there's a creepy vibe to them, but they're also kind of cool. You aesthetically can see the history of our town here. But as I said, they would be used really for nefarious purposes. And so everything from our bank robbery that happened right out there, the fire that caught this building, Dr. Ellis was in the building. He's one of our most famous local citizens. He was in the building. He barely made it out. According to the newspaper, he was standing on the street right in front of it as this $75,000 building was burning, and he got word from the firemen that his pet dog did not make it out alive, and on getting that news, he suffered a massive coronary and dropped dead right there in the street. Dr. Ellis seems to pay visits for us. One of the things that we use, we are a a Victorian town, and we are a haunted town, and so we really enjoy using pendulums. Pendulums, or pendulums, as some people might call them, the old Victorian ghost hunting tool. And so we like to break those out. I think there's a few people who may have used them at baby showers, and that's sort of today's use for it. But we like to tap into the pendulum and let people experience that for themselves. And so oftentimes people will use them back here. Orbs have been seen in through here. We've gotten some apparition stuff, light bulbs flickering every once in a while. Hard to believe, right? Mm-hmm. Did it. And yeah, it's been fun. It's our conclusion, it's our grand finale, and you know, so much of this you talk about and you've got to use your imagination, but it's really neat for people to come in here and do that. We like to say we have 7 residents here that we're aware of that don't pay rent. And so it doesn't seem to be evil. There really doesn't. I think our bank robbers, they had a blooper, if you will. And it's a bit of a funny story, but I think it led to the 3 of the bank robbers being shot down in the street by armed U.S. citizens, Eureka's citizens. We seem to have one of them that pays a visit here, and he doesn't seem to be super mad, but maybe just upset. It was a really good bank robbery plan.
Foiled.
When I first moved here, I started hearing a lot of ghost stories. And I kind of wondered, is the town really more haunted, or are we just all sort of just crazy here? And I don't mean that in a negative way, other than I think in a lot of cities, a lot of more normal places, maybe they're as haunted, just people don't talk about it. You might not mention that your bathtub turns itself on and off at the PTA meeting because you're afraid DHS will come in and take your kids away from you. Where here in Eureka, we all just kind of know everyone's crazy, so we're a little more open and we talk about things. But we definitely have the stories, and we definitely have a unique past with a lot of people dying here. There's a level of skepticism with me personally. I definitely don't believe everything out there is paranormal or a ghost. So many things can be figured out, and there's a fun, there's a little bit of a challenge of that. It's fun when skeptics pendulum starts moving for them. It's always entertaining, and but people who come in and that are skeptical, hopefully they had a fun time, but maybe they're not converted over. Likewise, I think other people who are, if they're believers, they really dig it, because it's just, this is not normal. I mean, it's not all paranormal. I mean, this is limestone. It was really built by people, but it's just really unusual, and so we have fun. There's more questions that every answer produces more questions, and that's one of the things that's kind of fun.
Do you want to do a pendulum? We've never done a pendulum on any of our things. Could you do one with us?
Yeah,
that'd
sure.
be awesome. Please.
The first things with pendulum is that anytime you claim how something is done or not done, you will create the wrath of a bunch of people who know better. But one of the things that I have learned practically with hundreds of people is they're incredibly forgiving, and you can do things maybe wrong and they still work. You can hold a pendulum like this, you can hold it like this. Some people like to hold it like this. Some people like to have their hands between to center energy. I think sometimes your little lines in your fingers help you see if the movement is really little or not. But for the most part, you're looking for a yes or no answer, and you want to identify what your yes is. Now, we have found, dealing with hundreds and thousands of people, that your answer might be, your yes answer might be different than mine. So it's always good to just ask, show me a yes answer. and there will start to be some movement. My yes answers are a line, forward and backwards. Someone else's might be side to side. Someone else's might be a circle. I like to tell people if it's moving in a circle, pay attention. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise? And you just say, be still, and it'll go still. And you can ask, show me a no answer. And there should be a distinctly different movement go. Mine is always a counterclockwise circle. Again, someone else's might be different. In theory, no movement whatsoever could be a yes or no. So it's just a matter of testing. Some people, it does seem to take a little more time for them to work with it. And so it's a trial and error type of thing. It is amazing how many people just out of the blue, hardened, professing, we ask people at the beginning, do you believe? And goes, no. And their pendulums start moving. And sometimes it freaks some people out. And we like to explain that there's different opinions on how and why they work. Many people believe that it's just your subconscious. But there is equipment that can tell very accurately if someone's lying. Well, if you put a weight on the end of a chain, the most minute little movements, ideomotor reflexes or ideomotor movements, you don't see it, you don't feel it, but it starts to move. Now, I suppose it could just purely be the power of suggestion, but if you can tap into the subconscious and ask questions and be able to get answers. You lose your car keys. You consciously don't remember where they are. If you would go get hypnotized, they could probably pull it out of you. If you don't want to go get hypnotized, if you can tap into a pendulum, are the car keys in the house? Oh, they are. Are the car keys in the bedroom? No, they're not. Are the car keys in the living room? Yes. Is it by the chair? And there you go. You find they've fallen down on the crack of the chair. But there's other people out there that go, hey, if a poltergeist can throw a dish across the room, a spirit might be able to move this like this. You didn't pick up any of that.
No, right. Can you ask the energy here a question or two?
Oh, sure. Okay. I'm gonna run around.
No worries.
Super. Good.
Cool.
So, is there a spirit in the catacombs here that would like to communicate with us? Seems to be a yes. Dr. Ellis, are you here? Not really a no, but not a yes. Is Dr. Ellis here but does not want to communicate with us? A little more of a yes there. Hello, Dr. Ellis. A little more specific, sometimes it works. You got to stop and think, obviously. You have human spirits here. You ask if there's a spirit here, you can get a yes, but that doesn't mean it's a disembodied spirit. Ella, are you here? Maybe Ella's here. George Price, he was one of our bank robbers that was killed right outside our front door. Kind of getting a no on
Yeah,
that.
that looks like a circle.
Scare the crap out of them.
Come on in.
Hello.
Hi, all the lights are off.
Yeah, we were filming. Excuse me. I didn't like the light.
Alright.
Do you want to take the camera?
Oh, look at it. It was just 66.6 degrees.
Is it?
Ooh, now it's 66 point. Yeah, raise it a little bit. The number of the beast. Oh, damn
There
it.
you go.
Look at we got a
Well, that's what originally I saw someone who had a ruler, and it was like, I mean, if you were a carpenter or something. So, Ella, would you like to talk with us? It's interesting when people talk with Ella. I'm a bit cynical when it comes to the ability of fortune tellers to actually tell the future. I think there's so many variables that it's problematic. The past, maybe a lot easier to buy into someone knowing the past versus knowing the future. But I don't know if a dead fortune teller is any better at telling the future. But people will swear she will answer those kind of questions. So, Ella, is there good fortune in my future? That's my yes. I guess I'll take it. I don't know, what should we ask?
Ella, are you the only one here in the building?
In the building or in the catacombs here? That's a no.
That's definitely a no. Are any of you guys trapped here?
Maybe a yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've wondered if Dr. Ellis is not. His building caught on fire. I've wondered if there's if that mystery, if there was foul play, if that,
Ooh.
the lack of resolution, unable to rest in peace.
It's pretty strong.
You want it darker?
Is that possible?
Oh yeah. Kill these couple candles and.
Is this on the wrong?
Perfect.
What unit? There we go. It says it's 21 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know why it's freaking out. You know why it's freaking out like that?
Mm-mm. This is definitely creepy back here now.
Yeah. How do you turn the light on?
So to cap off tonight, we are actually now alone in the catacombs under the streets of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It's just Peyton and I back here. We're in the pitch black darkness back here. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty welcoming when we were here initially with all the lights on and he was in here and we were all talking and having fun, but now that the lights are off, it's honestly really creepy. I'm not gonna lie. The moment that they went out, it's like, I don't know, just the energy picked up really hardcore.
So how does it feel to be back here?
You know, as you said, it was kind of cozy at first. Now, you know, with the lights out your other senses are kind of heightened, and it's definitely kind of eerie with the little sounds. Water dripping, again with all of the limestone, all of the water. It's like just kind of like charged, you know, if that makes sense. I really like the stalactites.
Definitely.
I think they're great.
Okay, well.
Urban cave exploring.
Well, we're gonna go complete lights out. It is literally pitch black in here. So you wanna walk a little towards the center over there. I'm gonna turn night vision on. And let's get going.
Alright.
Here's what we're gonna see. I'm gonna show you guys now.
Literally nothing. If there's anyone here in the tunnels with us,
Oh. That was like from in here. Oh. Oh. That's the first time we've heard anything like that. It's like a rock.
if you're in here, could you do that again? It's so dark.
I know, I can't believe how dark it is.
Sensory deprivation dark.
Yeah, it's because there's zero light back here.
Cave dark.
Like this. It just happened again.
Oh god. Cave dark.
Like this.
Cave dark.
Like this. Shh. Shh. It actually did it again. Point two, look, point two, point two, point three, quick, get it. If that's you, can you keep stepping towards us? Who's down in these tunnels? .6. Use your voice to tell us your name or explain why you're still here. Did they use these tunnels as body tunnels? Did your body get...
Shit.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
This is way creepier than I thought it was gonna be, not gonna lie. Okay, let's walk down over here. .6 again. Okay.
God.
Can you please just tell us the answer, yes or no? Maybe knock on something, throw a rock. On something, throw a rock. This is so creepy. This is so creepy because it's so open behind me. And it's like, it's literally so, we can't even show people at home what it's like right here, but it's so dark in here since there's no entrances, cave walled in. This is all just black. You
I
can't
can't even
see.
see you in front of me.
I know. It's like, this is crazy. Can you step near to us? Step near. Is there somebody here with us? Can you give us any sort of a sign? We want to know the truth behind these tunnels. Let us help you tell your story.
Is there like a flying bug down here?
Don't think so, no.
It was weird. It was like maybe an orb. Honestly, it went.
No. Yeah. I mean,
But I haven't seen a bug yet. I mean, there's all these cobwebs with.
There's no way a bug would be here.
There's all these cobwebs with like no bugs in them, really.
Let us help you tell your story. Let us help you tell your story.
Let us help you tell your story. Let us help you tell your story.
Dead. We have 4 minutes on this card, babe.
Okay. Can't even see around the corner on this camera. That's how dark it is. I just got like a flash of light through there.
Really?
Yeah. What the
Through the infrared camera?
Yeah. Let's go check back on that. Okay, well, we got 4 minutes. Turn your light off.
Who is back here in the tunnels with us? Were you a criminal? Were you the spirit of one of the bodies hauled through these tunnels? So dark back there.
I just feel like there's someone like walking around us.
I know, it's like creeping me out. And we can't keep the lights. They like got like dark all of a sudden. I don't know how to describe it.
Here, well, we got like 1 minute of footage, so let's turn that off. If there's somebody here, we just want to talk to you. So why don't you come out? What?
Something just dropped on my head.
We just want to hear from you. So why don't you give us one sign or a word? God, water just dropped right on my head. Ugh, stalactite water. Well,
Ooh.
we're about out on this camera card. We just had a really interesting investigation. It's very creepy back here. This about wraps up our time here in Eureka Springs. We got 3 investigations in and 1 in Fayetteville. For now, we're going to head back to the Super 8 Motel, crack open the sangria, hit the hot tub, have a grand old time.
North is swallowed by dodgeball. Oh!
I think I'm literally about to have a heart attack.
You're not too old. You're good. You can do it.